Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Station for Learning. Today we are going to learn about the poem called Easter 1916. It is written by William Butler Yeats, and about some information about William Butler Yeats is he was born in 1865 and died in 1939. He was a romantic poet who turned out to be modernistic one later on, and his main themes were Irish mythology, folklore, Irish nationalism, and realism. He has also presented his work in Abbey Theatre in 1904. He was a member of Irish Republican Brotherhood and was a supporter of blue shirts. These were the independence movements at the time when Ireland was looking to get independence from British rule. He won Nobel Prize in Literature in 1923, and his famous works are The Stolen Child, Leda, and The Swan, The Second Coming, Sailing to Byzantium, and Easter 1916 that we are going to review today. Uh, these are some of his great works. In one, we can see him present in his literary circle. In one, he is present with Leo Tolstoy. In one, he is with his wife. And in one picture, above a picture, we can see that he was also a senator. And someone has congratulated him on winning the Nobel Prize for Literature, and they have actually regarded it with the tribute to Irish civilization, which is indeed a big, uh, title given to someone. Now let's talk about the significance of title. While analyzing Easter 1916, the eye-catching title is the very first thing to claim your attention. As the name suggests, it has something serious to do with the event of Easter. The basic belief of Easter is that the resurrection of Jesus will occur on this day. It is a celebration of rebirth of the martyrdom, and that these revolutionaries will have a rebirth effect on the Irish nation too. So certainly the title, it shows that the title of this poem has something to do with the resurrection of the Irish nation as well, who was actually looking to get freedom from British rule at that time. Now, the setting of the poem. The setting of the poem is around the island, is certainly as they were fighting for their freedom from the British rule, as we have discussed, and also the World War One was going on during that time. So they must have faced the destruction as well, the deaths as well. Um, let's see what has happened now about the poem. Now let's look at the summary of this poem. All right. Now you can see that the poem begins with the Yeats comes across the Irish people before the Easter Rising was announced. Now, but the Easter Rising was actually they are calling it the time when it was happening during the Easter, and this freedom movement also took place during the Easter. So they have actually named it the Easter Rising. All right. These people could be revolutionaries who are coming back from their daily routine jobs, etc. These people have fought for their homeland, and Yeats has described them as vivid faces. We can see that they are showing some vivid faces, then they must be excited about someone. The ones who are glowing with the aim of getting back their Irish homeland one day. See? However, the poet has only greeted them with a mere nod of the head with polite, meaningless words. He has called them polite, meaningless words, and not giving any extra importance. From all this usual calmness to all the moods of insurgents, the poet has compared that how they were like funny clowns, telling some funny or teasing tales to the friends, and now they are completely changed people. They have become so dedicated and serious, working towards the same goal. See, now they are understanding that they have got some mission to complete. That's why those bubbly or jolly, funny people are have now turned into some serious ones who are actually focused on some goal. The terrible beauty is indeed the unity of the Irish nation as one and claiming their land, as we have discussed that they were claiming their land from the British rule. And he has called this a terrible beauty is born. Now, in the second part of the poem, Yeats has talked about those revolutionary figures who played a key role in the Easter uprising. He has started off from a woman who had all the luxuries of life, still she chose to be a part of an event that led to hardships. See? The woman that the poet has mentioned here is Countess Constance Markievicz. The Countess has worked till late at night, arguing about the political matters that has made her voice strident. Once she had such a beautiful voice, soft voice, and she used to hunt on the harrier's back, but she gave up all the comfort of for the betterment of the nation. So see, it was not only men who were um, striving for the Irish independence, but the women were equally involved. And this women who had all the comfort of the world, but she chose to be the independence person who she chose to strive for the independence for her nation. She was ordered to be executed as well, but was not handed over by the authorities. See this type of the hardship she has faced. She was also elected in the British Parliament, but did not take her seat. Here we can see that how she was valuing her Irish citizenship or Irish identity, that she did not take up to the British Parliament, because then she had to follow all the British orders as well. After that, he mentions a man who established a boys' school. He was Patrick Pearse, who was the leader of the Irish Republican. He was a nationalist, and the poet has used the Greek mythology of Pegasus for him by saying our winged horse. As we all know that in Greek mythology, they are winged horse, and he has given him that status of God, that he's kind of our savior or something. Pierce is not described in detail by Yeats in the poem. Rather, he mentioned his friend Thomas MacDonagh, who was his helper and friend. He was an emerging poet with sensitive thoughts who could be famous in the end of the if he would not have dedicated his life for the revolution and become the military counsel for the Republican. See, so he said instead of continuing his career as a poet, he chose to be a military counsel for the Republican. So, because again, he was a dedicated Irish person who wanted to reclaim his land. He and were executed like others by the firing squad under the charges of treason. Oh, there is a drunken, vainglorious lute. Later comes in the poem Easter 1916, who is Major John McBride. See, most likely Yeats has used these words for him for the personal reasons. He married Maud Gonne, who was adored highly by the poet but could never marry her. That's another debate. That's another kind of a discussion that what is the connection between Yeats and Maud Gonne. We're going to discuss later in our chapters, in our lessons as well. Yeats says, "Done most bitter wrong with some who are near my heart." See, he is saying because bride ill-treated Maud Gonne. Yet the poet has mentioned him due to his sacrifices for the nation, though it was of no use by calling it a casual comedy because they got almost nothing out of it. Even this entire scenario of uprising has transformed a man like McBride, and this is how they have become passionate for a cause. Even McBride was striving for the independence of Ireland. In the third stanza, we can observe that how Yeats has associated the stability and persistence with the symbol of a stone. Well, they are all have the same purpose of heart. They all want to be free from Britishers, no matter what is the time of the season. This. Their aspiration is unchanging and relentless. So they are not even caring about that whether it is a festive season or what. They want to get freedom. They want to reclaim their identity. The motive of the life of these revolutionaries is not troubled by anything harsh or calm, whatever. He then uses the imagery of how a horse, cloud, birds, hens, more, etc., who is moving from one place to another, changing by every passing minute. Amongst them, the hearts of these freedom fighters are unchanged by any outside effect. They are strong willed and firm on their decision to have their land back. In this stanza, we have also noticed that how the poet has moved from humans to the nature. See, now, as we move to the fourth stanza, we can spot that Yeats kind of acknowledging the efforts of these rebellions of the Easter Rising. There has been quite a time that these people are suffering and have sacrificed their everything. This determination has turned their hearts into the stone that is again unmoved. It can be seen that as they are in the position to do or die now. That is also very much visible to all of us by now. All of us are unaware or unaware that when this sacrifice of Irish people will end. Meanwhile, we are busy in taking names of those who have lost their lives. All those who had been on their limbs are taken down by the eternal death. This is what happened with those people who were sacrificing their life, right? The poet explains to them that it is not the sleep that comes at night, rather it's the sleep that is known as death. The situation was like this. Certainly they were, struggling for their independence. All those involved in the uprising are executed or killed. Now the poet has also asked about it being worth dying for the cause or not. He's sort of showing his positivity that England will not back off from its promise and grant free land to the Irish people as it was promised earlier. He has acknowledged the detriment of those streams that has taken many precious lives. All happened because they crazily followed a dream that made them losing their future. He has asked the question again if it was their love for the homeland that confused them so much until they are dead and realize that it was all just a dream. Certainly, a poet himself, being an Irish by blood, do not want all of this to go in vain. That is why he has written this whole poem that as a tribute to them, right? Yeats has written down all of his feelings in the words with the names of MacDonough, McBride, Connolly, and Pierce. That whenever these names will be taken now, the context behind them would be entirely different. They are the symbol of bravery and heroism now. They are a kind of national heroes who will be remembered. The national color of Ireland, that is green. This is how this terrible beauty of sacrifice and nationalism was born. We have noticed that the tone of the poem is kind of disapproving. That is mainly due to the Yeats' personal feelings toward the uprising, right? When the Easter Rising began, he had no idea that it will turn out to be so deadly and violent. This disturbed Yeats and the other revolutionists as well. This was the reason that he penned down his emotions via this poem. See, here I have mentioned few pictures of these McDonough and James Connolly, Pierce, Clark, McDonough, William Pierce, all of these people who Yeats has mentioned in his poem as well. Now, let's look at some behind the scenes, the context of this. That William Butler Yeats wrote this poem on 25th September 1916 after the events of Irish uprising that is also known as Easter Rising. The rebellion act took place on the Easter Day in the capital of Ireland, Dublin, on 24th April of 1916. The reason behind it was to seek independence from the British rule that was promised, but was postponed due to World War One. There were 16 Irish Republicans were involved in mounting this rising, who wanted to topple the colonialism of England and established an Irish state. Although the rising was futile and led to the execution of the masterminds behind it. But see, as we discussed that they were struggling for their freedom. This is why the Easter Rising took place. This is all we have learned about Easter 1916 today. If you want me to explain something more, please write me in comments and let me know if you want to know any other topic to learn. Thank you for watching it. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.